Fallout 76 isn't like any Fallout game before it. If you're just starting out, it can be extremely overwhelming, so we're here to walk you through some of the basics to get you on your feet in the wilds of West Virginia. There's not a ton to do in the vault and very little to pick up. You'll select your character's look, but don't worry if you muck that up. You can actually change this anytime you want in the menus. Just make sure you grab those perk cards on the Get a Job table. You'll be granted your first bonuses that you can apply to your special attributes. With that out of the way, you can head out into the wilds. As soon as you leave the vault, things start getting very dangerous. Since you can't pause in Fallout 76, it is after all an online game, you'll need to be ready for any scenario. The first thing you should do is favorite 2 weapons to your D-pad, assuming you're using a controller. A melee weapon and a ranged option. Any more and you'll find yourself scrubbing through a long list of weapons when you have to make a really quick choice. Here's a quick pro tip, changing your Pip-Boy to the overlay setting actually lets you see the world around you while you're still navigating the menus. It's not as good as pausing outright, but close enough. Until you reach level 5, you should be pick and clean every building, dwelling, or site you encounter. Then break down the junk at any workbench and store all the junk in a stash box. While you can trade with other human players and robot vendors, resources are harder to come by than in previous Fallouts, so you'll probably want to save your caps for things like fast travel or buying more ammo when you're in a pinch. You should expect to craft and modify or find and repair whatever you need rather than buy it. You should seriously consider increasing your strength stat to increase your carry weight, or picking luck perk cards that improve the condition or quality of the items you find. Food and water are a much greater concern in Fallout 76 than in past games. Fortunately, there are plenty of sustainable water resources in the wasteland in the form of creeks and sinks. As long as you have a steady supply of Radaway, you can have an infinite well of water to pull from. I recommend grabbing a lot of water at once, as much as you can carry, and just popping Radaway afterwards. Then take all the dirty water to a cooking station and boil it, which you can then drink for hydration or use in recipes to make more food. Most recipes in the game do require boiled water, so it's a good idea to stock up whenever you find a water source. If you're still having trouble managing your hunger and thirst, consider taking perks that either increase the nourishment you receive from drinking or eating, or reduce the rads you absorb from eating impure food. Speaking of dirty food, there are now a wide variety of diseases and mutations that can be acquired. Hooray! Mutations arrive from radiation exposure and have both positive and negative effects, but can be cured taking Radaway. You should know, however, that Radaway significantly lowers the disease resistance for a good chunk of time, so you should be aware of that. Sleeping on the floor, drinking dirty water, and eating raw food also pretty much guarantees a disease. If you want to avoid these diseases but still get the well-rested bonus, any raised platform or standing bed will do. You should scrap duplicate weapons rather than keep them for resale or trade. Oftentimes when you scrap a weapon, you'll learn the mod recipe for that weapon. It's also a good idea to only have one weapon per type of ammunition. For example, the bolt-action pipe pistol, unmodded, is redundant with the short hunting rifle, because they both use .308 ammo. If you found a weapon you really like, make sure you always have the resources on hand to repair it. Repairing items works differently than in previous games, but in general, it's a good idea to always have adhesive, which can be scrapped from duct tape or wonder glue, and is a necessity for pretty much all repairs. We'd suggest you avoid the events marked on your map as a yellow hexagon when you're early on in your adventure, through level 5 at least, if not longer. They'll automatically be added to your quest list when you enter an area where one is happening, so just ignore it or unfollow it in your Pip-Boy. Events are chore-like experiences that waste ammunition and don't really provide enough of a reward in weapons, gear, or other items, especially if you're fighting solo. That said, as long as you're in the vicinity of an event, you can still reap the rewards from it without actually firing a single shot. Handy. I would also avoid claiming any workshops early on. Once you claim one, it'll have to be defended against waves of enemies, which also eats up ammo and degrades the condition of your weapons, and you really don't get much out of it. While cruising through your Pip-Boy, you may accidentally hit a button to start setting down your camp. You should ignore this at least until you've progressed in the story to start getting tutorial missions on how to build your camp. This will be at the Morgantown Airport. The camp is actually super helpful. You can fast travel there for free and drop down a number of crafting benches and toolkits wherever you want. Try to pick a pretty spot that's somewhat central. You will be able to move your camp later, but it costs caps, so it's a good idea to get it right the first time. These tips should keep you alive for the first 10 hours or so. But of course, there's tons to explore in this game, so if you have any good tips for people just starting out, drop them in the comments and we'll highlight the best ones. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there!